in this world, in this movie, I think it's being a native New Yorker. That's the one thing that helps the most, and understanding these people. You know, I'm not Italian at all, and I wrote a script about a bunch of, Italians or Sicilians, but being Latin, I appreciate and understand the passion that comes along with these people and this personality and the culture, because we're very similar in many, many respects. I just felt like there needed to be a story about the modern day era of organized crime, but more about that one individual, that one slice of life, that story that resonates with all of us. The guy who's not only a gangster and a criminal, but he's also a father. And he goes away and he's trying to, reacclimate into society. Finding the actors for Last I Heard has been easy. Everybody just fit into the roles so appropriately. Paul Sorvino, is the guy. He is the Mr. Joe character, but everyone from his daughter Renee Props to Michael Rapaport to, Kevin Kelly, Hassan Johnson, Andrea Natoli, Andrea Nevedo, Stephen Bauer, Chaz Palminteri, they've all just, fit into these roles so appropriately.
From the first time I read it, I called him up and said, "Did you write this for me?" He said, "Yes." And I didn't really, I had met him shortly. He had directed something I was in. I said, "This looks like you have written this role for me." He said, "Yes, I have." I'm nothing like a gangster, but it's a fascinating study. It's the first post-mafia story that I'm aware of where the central character is a former big shot gangster, and now he is nothing. It's really beautiful to go through that.
Paul wants to look at you.
Okay. I'll be there.
All right.
What's up?
All right.
Get out of here. Stay in there. You don't.
Can you,
I already cut him out of the scene.
He's a brilliant, brilliant man with tremendous taste. He's a wonderful director, very creative man, very open to new ideas and letting the imagination of the actors help to inform the script. He's not tied to what he wrote, although what he wrote, were you to play it exactly as it was written, would be marvelous. He, however, is a believer in the actor's improvisational art, and we work around it. We say a lot of the things that he wrote, but we also work around it quite a bit. So he is terrific. My feeling it is that it will be easy to feel sorry for this gangster because he is reconstructing his life in a new way because he has to, because he loves his daughter. This is his one flaw as a gangster is he loves his daughter. So he can't just get his own way and tell her what to do. He has to adjust to the problems that she brings. And because he loves her more than anything, every part of his life is centered around his daughter at this age because he knows he's going to die.
action!
Oh, Bobby. Bobby, this is my parole night.
I played Bobby DiBianco, who's a, regular sort of working class guy from Queens, who grew up to Paul Sorvino's character, Mr. Joe, who's just getting out of prison, sort of a revered folk hero in the neighborhood. He's a gangster, and I grew up next to him my whole life, and now he's coming out of jail, and he lives right next door to me. He lived next door to me before he went away, and now he still lives there now that he's back.
Listen, I don't know if you care, but Dom Salerno Jr. came into the deli, says hello, and sends his regards.
I think I can relate to things about the character Bobby. Just, he's a family man, cares about his family, cares about his daughter. I definitely can relate to that. I think he is curiously compassionate to Mr. Joe. Hopefully I could relate to those sort of things. I really like working with Dave Rodriguez. I worked with him once before. He's very trusting of the actors, and he's given me a lot of freedom to sort of make things comfortable for myself, make the character my own. You just want to try to make everything fresh and genuine and natural and as realistic as possible.
And cut.
My journey with Rita has been amazing because my character is gay. My character is half Italian, half Russian. It's been quite an emotional journey for me. I'm very estranged from my father, but we kind of come back together. And I'm trying to really make peace with him and also reveal to him, a lot that's happened to me in the 20 years that he's been gone. So just to be a part of the whole crew and, the cast, and Paul Sorvino is like the most generous, loving, amazing actor, and Michael Rapaport.
Michelle is just one of those girls that is like your typical housewife from Queens. She loves her husband, she's a good girl, she grew up respecting family. Her family is very important to her. We have a daughter, Liv, who's played by the very talented Olivia Penapinto, who's making her debut in our film. And she's funny, which is exactly what, the women in Queens are like. They're funny, they're quick on their feet, they're bright girls, they handle a lot, they run the household, and that's who Michelle is. It's like, I let Bobby think he's running things, but Michelle's really running things. I think one of the things Dave's trying to do is not make this a stereotypical, mob film or gangster film, because it's not really. That's not really what this is. This is kind of like a sequel to Goodfellas or any of the films where we see what happens when everybody's in that life, but we don't really get to see what happens when people get older and are no longer in that life and how and what they do.
Action!
Dave is a masterful director. He knows how to get exactly what he wants out of his actors and tease out performances here and there. And so working with him as a producer has been exciting, and working with him as an actor as well has been also really exciting. Agent O'Bannon's a little goofy. Yeah, I think the most things we have in common is that we look alike.
Ramirez is a guy who works for the federal government, and there's some humanity there, but Ramirez really fights against that, right? Fights against falling for being kind to this man, because he knows that the guy is, the guy is responsible for deaths and and devastation, and just the fact that he's an old man, that he's sick, doesn't really merit that he should have any sympathy.
The look of Last I Heard comes from really Mr. Joe and who he was, who he is, and who he is trying to be throughout the film. We wanted to really create the perspective of just being an observer, from a handheld camera to the lighting being very simple and very naturalistic, production design, wardrobe, nothing being too overly stylized, and just having the look really be about him and his journey and the other characters in the film.
What's been so amazing is being here in Queens and taking this style that this particular neighborhood has and has had for a long time and making it come to life in film has been really, really compelling, especially with the characters, with the old school, the new school characters. It's just been really lovely and an amazing creative process.
It's been a blessing in disguise, and I think my dad is working for me on the other side, so it's been really, really cool to get to this point and know that it looks beautiful, the performances have been amazing, and everybody's enjoying coming to work, which is something that I'll take credit for.